Welcome to the Any Last Words podcast. Four overzealous friends severely in over their heads navigate what they claim to be areas of their own expertise, be it nerd culture, politics, or critiquing media.
Join us, if you will.
For these may very well be
Our last words.
It's pretty much the opposite of gaining interest.
Oh, I get to lose money for free.
Whoa! The second location was hit by a tsunami.
Yes, we get
Kaiju
tsunamis
related.
in Australia.
We do now.
In the middle of the city. But we're not saying that Santa is or is not
I'm not
real.
saying Santa isn't real.
No, of course not.
Okay, good.
He's
Yeah.
real. Don't
They're
worry.
just really rare in Australia, right?
You have Godzilla, who's basically a walking, occasionally talking nuclear bomb. And then you've got Kong. He's a monkey.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Any Last Words podcast, rated 4.72 stars out of 17 apricots. That's a lot of apricots. I couldn't eat that many. But yeah, directly across from me is my favourite host and second favourite person.
Woo! Hey, I'm Jay. How's it going?
To my immediate right.
Hey, it's Budgie.
And we've got some horrible news for you all.
Brandon's dead.
Yeah. Woo!
Wasn't me.
No, Brandon.
I mean,
unfortunately, we got the news yesterday that he's passed. And
so
on an
unfortunate.
unrelated
It really
note,
is.
next Friday we're going to be having a party. So
Yes.
if you want to come to that, please bring your own everything.
Yeah, the address and everything will be on the description down below, so
Yeah.
do check that out. Who's that?
Can't be Brandon, right?
No, it can't be.
Maybe
He's
it's the
dead.
pizza man.
It could
The
be. I did
pizza
order a
man,
pizza
yeah.
3 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, come in.
Hey guys.
Wait a minute, what?
What?
Brandon, you're dead. You can't be real.
I don't think so. I don't think
Your
I'm
face
dead.
feels real.
Why did you just touch my face?
Well, just to make sure that you're real. You could be a ghost.
I'm really not a ghost. But sorry I was late. I guess someone broke into my house last night on the second floor, might I add,
Oh.
and
Jeez.
attempted to stab me, but fortunately I was wearing my lucky Kevlar vest.
Very
Oh,
lucky.
as you do.
Yeah.
So, like,
That's so lucky.
no, but if that was last night, then how did that end up with you being late now? It's,
Oh, I got caught in traffic.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry,
I mean,
that was something crazy that happened. I'm a bit traumatized, as you could imagine.
okay, yeah. Are you
Yeah.
going to see anyone about that?
You guys, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Fair
no,
enough.
that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Well, we're so glad that you are here and alive.
We're
Yeah.
so happy.
Yeah.
Just don't go into the kitchen and don't look in the dishwasher though.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just been cooking with like some beetroots and shit, so like the knives look all red and all that crap. Just don't worry about it.
On another
Okay.
unrelated note, the party's cancelled.
Yeah.
What
sorry,
party?
Everyone. Don't-
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was my ex-wife's third dog's second cousin, twice removed, parakeet's birthday party, but it just died.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm so sorry for your loss.
I'm not. She
Yep.
was my ex.
I thought it was a parrot.
Well, I'm not going to remember what the parrot was to my ex.
It could be like that.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to the
this.
Any Last Word podcast.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Yes, thank you for coming. If you're still coming and you won't stop coming, then just let us know down in the
Don't
comments
stop
below.
going. Okay, I didn't realize the connotations there. Oh,
Wow, that was a
Spicy.
Smash Mouth reference. You've just got a dirty mind.
I know it was a Smash Mouth reference, but I do also have that.
I suppose so. I mean,
Rip.
who isn't dirty-minded these days? Aside from Brandon,
Very pure.
he's extraordinarily pure.
Yes, thank you.
Like, I'm
guys.
pretty sure if you like opened up his brain, it would just be like just really white and crisp.
Yeah.
You know, there's like you
No
know, there's
blood.
darkest like those blackest black paints where
Yeah.
they absorb like 99.95% of light.
Yeah.
Brandon's brain would reflect 100% of light,
Wow.
and it just emit.
Would that mean that
pure
you'd be
white.
blinded as soon as you saw his brain?
Probably yes.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. That's
It
a
would
cool
be very
superpower.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just requires you to crack open your skull.
Oh, easy.
All right, get to it
Yeah.
then.
On you go, do it. We need some lighting in here.
Yeah, it is pretty dark in here.
Yeah, the
actually.
third location, because we are recording in a third location. The second location was hit by a tsunami, which is as a result of, I don't know, something.
Yes, we get
kaiju
tsunamis
related.
in Australia.
We do now.
In
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
middle of the city.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
the
Yeah,
suburbs.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Like in the
So,
middle of Australia,
yeah.
we
It
get
was the
tsunamis.
first time. It was the
We
first
do.
time.
I know, first
It
time
really
for
has
everything.
been. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, hey, it's got to happen at some point.
It was weird, but
Mm.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other news, though, Russia is using ice creams to bribe people to get vaccinated. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it's Russia.
That makes
So
sense.
let's be honest. I mean, the Russians, they decided, they're going to make their own vaccine because we don't trust inferior American products. So they made a Sputnik 5, which is, their vaccine. And no one wanted to get vaccinated because they're all Russians,
That's fair.
Just drink vodka and get better. Go back to work and whatnot. But
I'm sold.
Yeah, I'm also sold.
I'm not.
It's ice cream.
But they
It's
started,
free ice cream.
they started handing out free ice cream at vaccination locations to get people in. And I mean, like, it's a bit of a toss-up because, like, Sputnik 5 didn't go through as much testing as it could have because, Russia. But then,
True.
on the other hand, like, everyone else has been looking at it because they're kind of concerned that the Russian government is feeding people, inferior products. But in fact, it's probably one of the most successful vaccines present. Like, it has a 91.6 success rate and no one's dead yet, so they accidentally made a decent vaccine.
Wow.
So I mean, like, you probably should get vaccinated if you're in Russia. There's a lot of miming going on at the table. Did I miss a mime convention at some point?
No, not quite.
But we are introducing a new little game or challenge for the hosts today.
Well, this is true.
So we totally just got a manager.
We did.
And she's given us a few words that we need to incorporate into our speech at some point.
Yes.
And for today, this one episode, we're going to tell you what the words are beforehand.
Are we?
But yes, we are.
Wow.
Yeah, but for every other episode, just because we're introducing it, we'll be telling you at the end. So you'll have to, like, guess which words it is. So far, would you like to say it? What the words are?
The words are trick, verdict, incident, truck, obstacle, and circle.
Wow, those are some
Wow.
great last words.
That's going to be so good.
Yes. Let's just circle back into the podcast real quick.
Yeah.
We're getting a bit sidetracked.
Just a bit.
Funny use of word.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Our propensity for sidetracking ourselves is a bit of an obstacle to our productivity, but I feel like we could just really throw that back into the trunk and just move beyond this incident. And honestly, like, if I put this up to a vote, the verdict would be that I'm just using this as an elaborate trick to get all the words out of the way, so I don't have to
Oh,
worry
God.
about this for the
Oh,
rest
he
of the
did it.
episode.
Oh my god.
I didn't even notice.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Cool, I don't have to worry about that anymore.
You
Wow.
said incident?
Yeah.
he
Oh my
did.
god.
Wow.
Okay, thank god I don't have to think now.
English major.
True.
That was not
I
very
can't
difficult. Are you kidding me? I hate myself.
Yeah, but you guys did advanced.
Yeah, and then all three of them did advanced, and
What
they
did we get
decided to
from
be
that?
creative.
Yeah,
you guys
we
got
did.
nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Could have gone to
Really.
standard and you'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah, but
True.
then it would have just been Australian literature, and that's boring.
Okay, that's fair.
That is
It is
actually
boring.
very
It was
It was
boring.
extraordinarily underwhelming.
I remember we did it in year 9.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it
think
was
we did a
so
Benjamin Patterson
boring.
poem or two, some shit. Then we did
I remember
Drover's
reading.
Wife.
Yeah, the
The
Drover's
Drover's
Wife.
that's
Wife.
it, yeah.
Ugh.
It was,
I never got through it.
yeah, for a good reason.
I
Yes.
only liked Robert Gray.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Oh, didn't you have a
poem.
favorite?
It was what was it called? It was 21 poems that I really liked by Robert
Yeah.
Gray.
You
That
know,
was a really nice
Somehow
one.
we ended up with really shit national poetry.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, in advanced, at least, we got to go into more
Not Australian.
not Australian poetry.
Yeah, it
like
was actually
T.S.
good
Eliot and
poetry.
stuff,
Yes,
yeah.
T.S. Eliot is an amazing author.
Yeah. He wrote
Interesting
Cats.
creative mind. He did.
He what?
He wrote Cats.
The
That-
original screenplay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That got
Wow.
turned into a Hollywood nightmare.
It looks
Yeah,
like
that-
on stage it's really good, and it's actually like,
Yeah, of
when you see
course.
it as like an act.
Yeah, I mean,
as a
it's
play,
meant
what
to
it's
be
meant
there.
to be.
Yeah.
That's the original art form, and then when you translate that to cinematography, it looks shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of things that look shit in cinematography, Brandon,
Well,
you're excited for a bit of a blockbuster that's coming up
Okay.
nowadays.
I don't like the implication that Godzilla vs. Kong looks garbage, because I think it looks amazing.
Thank you for
Personally.
disproving that. You're starting to build up courage.
Thank you.
You're getting there.
He's getting there.
But yes, honestly, Godzilla vs. Kong is coming up very soon, and we're totally not mentioning it just so we can clickbait. Not at all. But yeah, did you guys all watch King of the Monsters a few years ago? A couple of years?
Vaguely.
I actually
It's been a
haven't.
minute.
That's okay. Basically, majority of it was just human drama. That was kind of nonsense. So just watch clips
And
on
then about
YouTube.
5 minutes of Godzilla being a nuclear bomb.
But
Oh,
those
that's
5
right.
minutes were incredible.
They were.
They were absolutely
99%
amazing.
of the
Like
budget
King
went into
Kong
that.
being slapped.
Yeah,
You
something
got
like
slapped.
that. Well,
Yeah, he
in
got
the,
Apparently.
slapped.
in the upcoming movie,
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Kong,
Yeah.
which, it's going to be about Godzilla fighting Kong.
Hell yeah.
And it's going to be
Yeah.
amazing, probably. Basically, in one of the most recent trailers, they showed off Kong punching Godzilla in the face, and Godzilla.
God. God himself comes down from the heavens.
But he's basically God. But yeah, Godzilla
He's a
proceeds
fucking
to.
monkey.
Well, yeah,
Actually, that
true.
does make him fairly godlike.
Yeah.
Monkeys are great.
yeah.
Go
but
on.
Basically, Godzilla just slaps Kong super hard, and Kong falls over, which I
Whoa.
found really amazing, considering he's basically a giant gorilla.
True.
Yeah, and Godzilla's a lizard. But yeah, there's a lot of debate going on as to who would win. You have Godzilla, who's basically a walking, occasionally talking nuclear bomb, and then you've got Kong. He's a monkey.
Big monkey.
A
big boy.
monkey.
Yeah.
Yes. And the memes that have sprouted from this are hilarious, but in your guys' opinions, who do you want to see win? Assuming that it's going to actually be them fighting each other and not some...
Well, it's not
Yeah.
though, is
Yeah.
it?
Probably not.
We already
but-
know that the actual... I mean, if you don't know, then that's just your fault for not catching up. But we already
Yeah.
know that the true antagonist is Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah.
Mecha
And-
Godzilla?
Mecha
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Which has
Basically-
been a thing since like the 60s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm not very
basically
caught
just the
up.
humans' attempt at
Of course.
making Godzilla.
Because they even herald to it in like the earlier fucking movies and shit, how they're like collecting DNA specimens of kaiju and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of like a Jurassic Park thing where they made like their own mutant kind of dinosaur, the ultimate predator, except it's just a robot with,
Yeah.
big boyness.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
kind of just the premise of Batman versus Superman when you think
A
about
little
it.
bit, yeah.
You got
Well,
these
hopefully
two
they can
heroes
do it better.
fighting, and then...
But then again, they did it first in the 60s.
That's true. But yes, basically, Godzilla vs. Kong, very excited for it. And essentially, it's going to be quite interesting to see how that fight goes down.
That's
Seeing it.
riveting commentary.
I know.
right there.
I'm trying to buy some time here to understand.
Yeah, I
what's
don't know why. When I
happening.
think of Godzilla versus Kong, it's just the differences between them. Like,
Mm.
Kong is literally just a monkey.
Yeah.
Just a big
Like,
boy. Like a really
He
big
won
boy.
in the
In
original.
the originals in the 60s.
Really?
Like,
Yes.
that's the
Wow.
whole thing of it. Like, I mean, back then when it was just people in costumes and
Oh,
like,
true, yeah.
toys.
To be fair, the
Kong
monkeys
won.
are actually pretty strong. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but Godzilla's a nuke.
Like,
Yeah.
back
Literally
then,
a nuke.
He's
Godzilla was
massive.
more of a Deus Ex Machina machine rather than a
Yeah.
literal
Yeah.
nuclear power plant. So,
Yeah.
like, it kind of makes sense that Kong could win back then.
Mm.
And, I mean, they've shown it briefly because, I mean, generally what people are seeing is that the current movies are a continuation of the 60s movies and adaptations and whatnot. So, like, when they say the ancient war, they really mean the war that they showed back in the 60s when there
Okay.
was two fully grown men in costumes going pew pew pew.
That's kind of
Yeah.
cool, actually.
Yeah.
I guess it's better than just slapping the name reboot on it and forgetting
Yeah.
everything that happened before.
Mm.
I guess that's actually kind of a good decision.
Yeah,
Wow.
honestly, yeah.
Who would have thought they could do
And there's
that?
actually like
Yeah.
development. Like this feels like a rematch because Godzilla's got new powers and King Kong's grown in size like several magnitudes because
Yeah.
he's sitting on that island which is meant to be like a nuclear kind of core where the kaiju originated from. And since he's just been living there, he just got really buff.
Yeah.
So the message
Yeah.
of that story is do steroids.
No, do radiation.
Do radiation
Radiation.
steroids.
you'll die.
If you were a giant monkey.
Exactly. Or a
Basically.
regular sized monkey.
Hell
You could
yeah.
just become a giant sized
Oh,
monkey.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
your gateway.
Exactly.
Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Godzilla's just a dinosaur.
Yeah.
That got big.
It's-
A massive
Essentially.
dinosaur.
I
Yeah.
think the original name they gave was like Godzillasaurus.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Wow, that's a bit obvious.
A little bit, yeah.
Godzilla, but just Godzilla is really good.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of find it cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is very.
It just has a lot of, like, it just sounds greater
Yeah.
than just King
It
Kong.
does.
And for context as well, at the end of King of the Monsters, Godzilla literally becomes like super radioactive and melts everything around
Like he's
him.
literally
Wow.
melting a major
Yeah.
city
Ooh.
by standing in it.
Yeah.
And he's
Wow.
fighting off Ghidorah, who's like the fucking giant typhon kind
Yeah.
of beast.
Hydra thing.
Typhon.
Yeah.
Typhon.
Isn't
Greek
Hydra like the
mythology. I mean,
eight-headed
Hydra is like the
thingy?
multi-headed, multiple. Like, so
Is it
it's-
four heads or is it
It's
like...
like gains more heads the
Yeah, it
more you
gains
Oh,
slay.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
It starts off with I think 3 or 9. It depends on what adaptation, and then it just multiplies from there.
Yeah, 'cause you
in
keep cutting it off and it
orders
goes-
of 3.
But yeah.
But Typhon is from Greek mythology.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's probably not even based off Typhon, but it just looks a lot like
Yeah.
it. And I made the association myself.
And that's perfectly fine.
It probably is. I'll Google it later.
Say it was Greek.
Yes.
Well, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's Greek. The Greek
Because they
mythology always.
developed it from a lot
really
of
gets
different
in there.
mythologies.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the individual, like, kaiju and whatnot. They all are inspired from, like, different regional cultures or whatnot and yada yada. Yes.
It is very.
We've got a fucking mammoth, right? Like,
Yeah.
an actual giant woolly mammoth. But yeah, do go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's all I've got, actually.
Thank you for concluding the segment
Oh,
in
good.
prime time.
I know.
I know.
I'm really good at it.
I said
aren't
segment. Punch me in the face. Punch me in the face. Do it.
Don't do it. For our audio listeners, which we only have, Brandon just caressed Calan's face.
That's a
gently.
strong word. I would like to think I patted him on the face.
Pat-
No, it's closer
that
to
was a
caress.
That
caress.
was not a pat.
You caressed his face.
That's
Oh,
subjective.
no.
No, it's not.
It's
It
not
is.
subjective, Brandon.
It's just fact.
It is.
Well, sure.
Could be worse. If Jaden was here, it would have been a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
If he'd done that, ugh.
Ooh, we don't even want to think about
No,
that.
I wouldn't have a beard. He'd have ripped it off my face.
Yeah.
Taken it home with him in like a plastic carry bag.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I love you, Dad.
If you're listening.
If you're listening, Dad, Jaden. Yeah. So, okay, let's be honest, all right? Like, a couple of our viewers have had a couple issues, guys, because between Jay and Budgie, and it's only happened once, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a lot. You guys won't shut the fuck up about Dream SMP.
That is very true.
This is very true, all right? And I feel like, well, for the rest of us, I need to retort. I need to balance things out. You know, the universe needs to be equal as it should be.
We don't need to have a monopoly here, do we?
We don't, all right? So I'm spreading
No, I
the
think we could.
SMP love. And I'm just going to cover the Epic SMP by memory. Did I write notes? No. Do I need notes?
No.
No. All right, so Epic SMP. It's kind of the same project basis, like people on a Minecraft server fucking around with some very vague scripted aspects of it.
Ooh.
But what makes this special is that they've got mods. Ooh, it's
Oh, I've
fancy shit.
seen them. They look
Yeah.
really cool.
Ooh, mods.
Well, actually, the only one I've seen
I
is
could've stole
a
them
farmer.
myself.
But when it started out, it was mostly just like it was essentially advancing redstone, where like they had a lot more
Ooh.
constructs you could make, and it kind of went into like the industrial revolution kind of level of technology, and there's electricity and all kinds of fancy shit, yada yada yada. People get to be more creative. As for like big names and whatnot, realistically,
Oh, they have a lot of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the ones that I give a shit about, people like Fitz, Swagger Souls, JSchlatt, who technically doesn't stream it, but he doesn't stream anything, but he's
No.
all over the place on everyone else's
Is he just
streams.
like on both Dream SMP and
Yeah.
Well, I
And
mean,
he
he's
even
technically
mentions the
dead.
Dream SMP on the Epic SMP.
Oh, does he?
like
my God,
he's
it's
talking
canon.
about those fucking weirdos over there, and you have to do
True.
a Dream SMP thing.
So-
So we'll be back in a couple hours.
So this is a different thing to
Yeah.
the other
Yes.
one.
yes.
Yeah, and what
Okay.
makes this different is that it has its own. It's unique. It's the same basic premise, but it's a different story that's been padded out. Lore-wise, okay, because there is lore. Congratulations.
I actually didn't know there was law.
There's lore, but it
I kind
hasn't
of
been very
assumed.
developed. It's only been going for a few weeks, but it's
Yeah.
there, and there's a lot of theory to go with it.
Yeah.
So like the starting week, Ted, who I'm pretty sure is the
Yeah.
guy who like runs the whole thing, he's just walking around and he encounters a massive gaping void, like a hole that just reaches straight through bedrock, but he's the only one who can see it.
Nice.
Like he takes Quackity out to look at it, and Quackity just like stares right past it. No one else can see it but Ted. And at some point he ends up jumping into it because who doesn't? And he
Yeah,
starts
of course.
like he ends up in like another little mini dimension where he starts hearing voices and shit. The stereotypical just like just the dark
Right.
demon
Wow.
voices and
Nice.
shit.
Very educated voices.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just reading you one of their essays. Hey, can you prove
Exactly.
this for me?
And yeah, so all, from then on, like he's essentially become corrupted. Like he starts talking about, I'd do some evil things. I'd be evil and
Yeah.
whatnot.
I like being
Yes.
evil. That
Evil's
sounds pretty
great.
cool.
Yeah. And like his speech is also being changed as well. Like he starts making the guttural kind of demon noises every now and then, which is
Wow.
interesting.
Nice.
Okay, that's
Yes.
cool.
And that's about it for a technical like structured lore,
Right.
but inadvertently, JSchlatt and Swagger Souls, they're just powerhouses of people. And they've spent like almost all of their time on Epic SMP to the point where they're abnormally far ahead of the game of everyone else, to the point where they're essentially like, even in the official like lore trailers, they've become significant components of the lore.
Wow.
Because I mean,
It's because they're that
they're
good.
practically running empires at this point. Like Swagger is charging
have, like-
tax and shit.
Yeah, he has like a massive
Yeah.
plot of land with a castle and
Yeah,
shit.
essentially.
I think the only video I've half watched was of Slimesicle. I think he became like an intern for Swagger Sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, Slimesicle is in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
He's good,
interesting
he's good.
names in there.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Minx is in there as well.
Yeah, Minx
Just
is
a
in
Minx.
there. I know. I think Captain Sparkles was
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Jaden Animation's in there as well.
Oh, that's right. I've seen
Yeah.
some interactions between her and
Yeah, so
Swagger.
there's more PC people and there's also, you know, your explicit people.
Yeah.
Fitz got cancelled. I put brackets around that on the first live stream because he said retard.
Ah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like when you guys were talking about the Dream SMP, I thought, hey, this sounds kind of like some kind of anime side
Yeah.
project, you know. This one, to be honest, it sounds a lot more like Minecraft story mode.
Oh god.
So, just for some,
Doesn't help with the rats.
just to say, I'm not into Minecraft story mode. I just watched a streamer named RT Game play through the whole thing against his own will.
Naturally.
Yeah.
No one plays it willfully.
No, and the story is very similar. There's like this moderated type of character who's like the god of the world. There's that. Okay, I think there's a void in there as well where
Naturally.
you die forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got all those very similar
Yeah.
concepts to it. Does a pig die at any point?
No.
Oh, okay.
Although there is a
Technoblade
lot of
joins the
death,
game.
Swagger takes tax collection very seriously.
As he should.
As he should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
I
it
mean,
does
like
sound-
when you get that powerful, you know, like he essentially built like an entire train system throughout the entire server,
Whoa.
and it's not just like mine carts; it's like an actual fully built trolley that's really large, and it's just
Jeez.
constantly going around the entire server. Some people got pissed because it ruined the scenery, but you know,
I
when
mean,
it's
that's-
Swagger Souls. You can't
yeah.
say no.
Plus, that's just
Yeah.
real.
And
That's
like,
too
yeah.
real.
You know, if I was ever part of SMP, I'd be the villain. Like, I'd love to be. I'd love to
be
be
more
the
fun,
villain.
Not
yeah.
gonna lie,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so fun.
There's so many playlists on YouTube with just music that's like, because villains have so much more fun than the heroes and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen them around?
No.
No.
Oh well, must be
I
me.
mean,
Okay,
you're not
well,
wrong,
okay,
though.
well, probably because I'm in there. But there's like this
Yeah.
whole subset of like people that make playlists on YouTube,
Mm.
and there's different themes. So for one of them, a really popular one is just about being the villain in a story.
Mm.
So it's got, you know, kind of music that perpetuates that kind of feeling. Then there's other ones, there's like, you know, you're the main character of your own story. And then there's one, you're the sad side character of someone else's story. And then there's another one, very specific. It's like, you're the side character to the lead romance's best friend's dog or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, they get really
I could get
specific.
behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
even ones that you know, with the there's this song by Gang of Youths. It's about Achilles. Achilles Come Down.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that song before?
No.
Okay.
because we're uncultured.
Yeah, that's
Go on.
okay. No.
Oh,
It's
no.
it's gotten a lot of popularity, especially on TikTok as with the cosplayers and
As
stuff.
it does.
'Cause it's very emotional. It pretty much just tells the story between Achilles and the other guy.
I'm not
Yeah.
correcting that.
I actually have. I'm not sure. I'm not very well versed in Greek
Oh,
mythology,
no.
but it's kind of his lover man that's not really lover because, you know, gay people don't exist apparently.
Oh.
What's
Well,
his
back
name?
then they did all the time.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
but they wouldn't.
They were all
Historians like to not
Does not
explicitly
mention that.
say that they are.
Well, I mean, yeah, like throughout history, while that wasn't perpetuated by current society, they tried to not mention that.
Yeah.
But they were all hella gay.
Yeah, very very
Yeah.
hella gay.
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there was that song, and it kind of I found that song to go into a dark academia aesthetic. So it's like, you know, dark libraries and stuff like that. So academia, books and reading and stuff. And
Jay had to explain that to Brandon for our
make
audio
it
listeners.
So it's like, if you think of the Slytherin household, think of that.
Yeah.
But
Under
it's
the
kind
lid.
of
Okay, don't use Harry Potter as a.
Oh, I
That's
keep
fine.
forgetting.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god.
the villain from Cars. Does that help?
There's a villain in Cars. Is there?
Probably. I don't know.
Cars is about racing. The closest
I
they
like
get
it.
to a villain is Cars 2.
The antagonist.
There's no antagonist in Cars.
I mean, it kind of is.
kinda
Chick hits.
is.
and then
There has
you've
to
got-
be an antagonist.
Yeah.
The
Every
green
But
guy.
story
like-
has
yeah.
an antagonist.
Yeah, but it's not more about
Just
him.
not in that style.
Yeah,
They don't
no,
go back into their
I'm trying.
mansion on a hill and relax in their
Yeah, it's
mansion.
yeah, it's like
Oh,
like
no.
coffee and tea. These kind of aesthetics
Tea
of
and
like
cookies.
yeah, of like being in like a massive old ass library with like dark mahogany oak or some shit like that.
Nice.
I don't know,
Tried.
there's just a bunch of these
It would be
playlists on
mahogany.
YouTube that are like about hour long, and they just they feel this kind of feeling. So if you want to grab a book and pretend you're some, I don't know, angsty teen, but you're classical.
If you want to get into like a certain mood while consuming something
there we
else,
go.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's exactly. And I've just found a lot of those, and I liked it. So
Yeah.
sometimes when you think of like you see these villains
Yeah.
in or antagonists in stories, these playlists
Yeah.
they do the thing,
I
and
mean,
they're
I
like,
feel that. Like, if I'm listening to something while doing something else, like writing or reading, then I kind of like do get into the mood of like whatever the song's trying to perpetrate.
exactly, yeah. And so
Yeah.
it really helps you, especially if you want to read or study.
Mm.
Like, you know how lo-fi music helps you with that,
Yeah.
with studying. You know, this the 24/7 lo-fi beats
Myself
to
and
study
Stu's
and
heavy
stuff.
metal.
Yeah, there's also a heavy metal one of those. Yeah,
Oh, that's,
Oh, the thing
Hip-hop,
that's
lo-fi
playing
hip-hop.
outside
Yes.
right now.
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those
cool.
things. So you know how that helps you with study because it's like not very distracting. Well,
I
some
don't
people
know.
use it for that.
Oh.
You know, these kind of playlists help with
Mm.
those types of scenarios. But like when I saw Swagger Soul's big castle thingy, just reminded me of one of those.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kind of the portrayal that he's kind of going for.
Yeah.
I mean, no one sees themselves as the villain of their
No,
own
no.
story naturally, except for Ted, because you know he's
He is
quite literally admitting that he would do evil and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, you know, because he's a demon and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah. And I mean, kind of JSchlatt's interesting because there is an automation mod where you can like essentially automate your character's actions. It's essentially like an AI playing for you.
Ooh.
And I mean, this is mostly because JSchlatt's busy and he has a lot of shit to do, and he'll just leave that running for a bit. But he has like his avatar like following people, tailing them for hours and just
Oh.
doing nothing.
Wow, that's cool.
Or he'll just sit there and like mine iron for hours on end and shit. It's
Wow.
interesting, but he's been using it to like fuck with people.
Right.
But then people have started thinking about that from a lore perspective. There's a real life application to it. Like Schlatt's busy and he's got other shit to do.
Yeah.
But then people are thinking like in regards to the lore,
Yeah.
what if JSchlatt has been replaced by an actual AI?
Ooh.
You know, that's kind of what people are getting
Yeah.
at.
I like those kind of open-ended things. Like even
Yeah.
though IRL, there's probably a reason why they're doing something.
Yeah.
But you know, if like a character dies or something,
Yeah. If you can
But-
explain it in canon,
yeah,
then
you don't
that's
need
just
to
fine.
like full on explain something. It's good to
Yeah.
just let the fans decide for their own, and then you can just pick and choose which one you like.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, you see that with a lot of like live like shows that are just built, you know, as you go.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, oh shit, their idea's a lot better than what we had, guys. Let's just go with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
I
just
think,
showbiz, baby.
Yeah, and you know, keeping up with the fans and trying to make sure that you know they're happy with the decisions
Catering
as
to what
long.
they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really important in films and stuff. And you know, speaking of which, another segment for us. I had said segment, but that's okay. Last
Brandon,
film.
punch her in the face.
Wow, guys.
Pretty
Wow,
much.
how dare you
Brandon was
both
talking to
mention
us before
segments.
we started the episode, and he was talking about Detective Pikachu and things like
Yeah,
that.
he'd only just recently watched it. You'd think he'd watched it earlier because
Yeah.
he's a Pokemon fan, but no.
Yeah,
Well-
I heard a lot of praise about that
Yeah.
movie actually.
Detective Pikachu was very entertaining. Oh.
Thank you. Riveting comment. Yeah, that was Brandon, everyone.
Full stop.
Okay, well, basically, it's basically just real life Pokemon. Honestly, the story is pretty, you know, it's fine. But it's just seeing Pokemon with real life designs and looks to them. It just kind of takes you back to when you were a kid and wanted to be in the Pokemon world. You know,
It does a bit, yeah.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh my god, that could exist in real life, but they obviously don't.
What do you mean they don't?
I mean,
Did you just
I mean, it's alright. It's okay. One day you'll find one.
Scraggy.
It's like Santa's not real.
What?
He's totally
The
real.
fairy isn't
No, I'm
leaving
saying
money.
Pokemon like.
Santa's not real?
How could you, Budge? What's
I
wrong?
wasn't saying he's not real. I'm saying like the comparison of like saying Santa's not real.
Yeah.
Calan,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Pokemon is
But we're
real.
not saying that Santa is or is not
I'm not
real.
saying Santa isn't real.
No, of course not.
Okay, good.
No, he's
Yeah.
real. Don't worry.
They're just really rare in Australia, right?
Yeah,
that's
too
all.
hot. It's too
Exactly.
Yeah, he wears that big coat. Yeah.
He does. He's got very baggy pants. He's
Yeah.
very fashionable.
Yeah.
What a handsome little wizard.
What did you think about the movie? Because I think I watched it last year while I was procrastinating for one of our exams.
As you do.
And I really enjoyed it, actually. Even though I'm not that into Pokemon, like, I don't know a lot
Yeah.
about it, but as a casual viewer, I liked it.
Yeah.
So what about you guys from a
It's
Pokemon
kind of-
fan?
It's kind of like a dream come true.
Ooh, that's good.
Because it's just obviously the games, the way their story goes, it's going to be very hard to ever put that onto the big screen, especially if it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, that's true.
But since this was based on
It was based on a video game.
a separate video
A
game to
franchise.
the main
Yeah,
franchise,
it was isolated from like
Oh.
the main anime series and whatnot, but they
Yeah.
still like hailed to like the general overall Pokemon continuity.
It was just so amazing seeing these real life Pokemon in action, seeing how they behave. They really like managed to capture them as animals. Like,
yeah, I know
yeah.
they did a lot of research in
Yeah.
trying to match each Pokemon
Yeah,
to
they really
real world
went
animals
overboard.
to try and
Yeah.
splice
Yeah.
them together.
Yeah, it was very,
Yeah,
very awesome.
which was something I could certainly appreciate. And then also how they like went off board with it when they had the giant Torterra
Oh,
and
that
whatnot
was-
with
yeah.
like the genetic modification and whatnot. And they also confirmed like a Pokemon fan theory which has been going on for decades about how Mew and Ditto, like Ditto's a failed experiment of Mew.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
that's been a fan which the Pokemon
Ooh.
fan bases. Sorry, that's a theory that the Pokemon fan base has had for decades. Well, as many decades as you can when it started in 1998.
Yeah.
But like it's been a it's been a theory around for a long time, but we've never gotten like official confirmation of it until the movie, which was written under the Pokemon Company, so it is like canonical in its decisions and whatnot.
Yeah.
They just outright said it. Like the primary antagonist just pulls out a Ditto and he's like, "Mine's special though," because they're all failed offshoots of Mew, but mine is slightly different.
Which one was Ditto? Was
Ditto's like
The
that
blob.
pink blob which
Yeah.
can change into
Oh,
any other
right,
piece of
yeah.
form. Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking of the 3-headed mole thing.
That's definitely not Ditto. That's
Who's that?
Doug Trio.
a Doug Trio.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not sorry.
That's a
Yeah.
I
funny
know
Pokemon.
the pink blobby
Yeah.
thing.
Because, like, I mean,
Yeah.
the general premises of it is, like, while they were creating Mewtwo, which is, like, the evolved, well, not evolved, but, like, the elevated form of Mew, they ended up failing more often than not, and they just produced a lot of these amorphous pink blobs known as Dittos.
Right.
But they just released them out into the wild because they were failed experiments, even though they're, sentient living beings who
Yeah.
are very lovable and kind of cute.
Yeah.
You're just going to release them into the wild and potentially do real nasty things to the habitat, but whatever.
Oh no.
Well, they change into other Pokemon, so I suppose.
I mean, yeah, but that just means that they can like survive anywhere, which is good for them. But that's equivalent to like cockroaches being able to live anywhere.
Well, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Oh.
That's the point of the analogy, Brendan.
It's alright.
Yeah.
No.
I totally understood that. Yeah, I definitely didn't not get that.
Oh well.
But
Yeah.
overall, Detective Pikachu was a very charming film. The story, again, was alright.
It was alright.
Yeah.
It was very cute.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cute.
it was.
It helps that it was voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's like 50% of the effort right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually really fit well for the
He
role of
does.
Pikachu.
I was hoping
Yeah.
it would be Danny DeVito when they first announced they were going to
Yeah.
I feel like he would just capture a
He kind of would be that stereotypical kind of like cop
Coffee
character. Yeah, the coffee,
addicted, yeah.
ragged cop.
But either
no.
way, it was still very
Ryan's
good.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
as you do.
That's what I recently watched.
Congratulations, it only took you a year.
So 2 years almost.
2
yeah.
Oh shit, it's been almost 2 years.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, and like I know because it's a video game movie, a lot of those tend to be kind of garbage.
subpar.
Yeah.
You ever
Yeah.
remember
Like,
Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
Oh,
that
God.
Yoshi the little dinosaur.
Oh god.
That was funny though.
Oh no.
More recently,
That's
you guys
bad.
know Monster Hunter,
Yeah.
the game franchise? No.
Yeah.
I actually no, I've never heard of
It's
that.
basically a game where you hunt monsters.
Sounds
in the
sounds
name.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But they made a movie based off of that with
Oh.
like American military soldiers fighting giant monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That
very strange.
sounds boring. Actually,
It does, I'm not gonna lie.
We've seen that a lot.
We
Just
kind of
America against
America
unidentified flying objects.
Yeah.
I remember there was this old game we used to play about like monsters. Like you get to pick a kind of monster.
Yeah.
And then but you're versing. It's like a battle, like a monster battle.
Yeah.
Between two people. Me and my brother played it.
Is this Rampage?
Maybe I don't know, but like there's like people in there, and you get to step on people.
Yeah, and there's bystanders, and you just fuck around with
Yeah,
them. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like around
That
like a
sounds
city kind of
horrific.
landscape,
Yeah,
and you can
city.
like bash the
Interesting.
shit out of buildings and each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's
Rampage.
Rampage.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
movie that The Rock was in?
Well,
Like,
that
as
is
well,
a
isn't- and that was
movie.
based on
It's
it?
a movie.
Was it?
No,
I don't think it was
so.
based off of
No.
it. I'm pretty
It
sure
wasn't
that
based-
was just
this is
Dwayne The Rock
different.
Johnson just jumping off skyscrapers because it looks cool cinematically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there are. Well, what were the monsters? Maybe
it was just a gorilla. It was like a King Kong ripoff, basically.
I think it was, and they just like downsized on the amount of monsters. Oh, never mind. They've got plenty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I
They-
guess
like-
none of us watched that movie.
I watched it. I
Oh,
watched
there
it,
you
actually.
go.
It's an
Yeah.
okay movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the
It's got
same.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It
You
has
know,
a
at
point,
least he'll
like,
do
you know.
decent.
It's the same as all of his other movies. He's some military agent.
Dwayne The Rock
who-
Johnson just casted himself as himself, essentially.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's a nice movie though. Like it was cool,
Oh,
but
that's cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That
Alright.
is the signal of moving on.
All right. Well, Calan, what have you watched recently?
Well, I mean, I thought to myself, you know, like, society, do we
Oh.
really know what we think we know? And I feel
Probably
like
not. Sorry.
that has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about. But I just felt like mentioning it because really, society, get onto it. But yeah, like, I mean, just recently, I've just started reading a lot more manga adaptation, like the original source material for anime and shit. And specifically, like, I caught up with the One Punch Man and My Hero Academia mangas, as well as like a half a dozen others. I have a lot of spare time on my hands. Now, some, like, I mean, I got into it, yada yada. They're interesting. There's this relatively similar world building preference in precedence in that both societies have people who are just born with powers and whatnot, and they fight other people born with powers, yada yada. There's hero systems and shit.
Yeah.
But I saw this interesting fan theory on the internet where they were both in the same continuity, where My Hero Academia. What happened? One Punch Man came before My Hero Academia, and the protagonist of One Punch Man, Saitama, was one of the original wielders of the quirk One for All, which is the protagonist of My Hero Academia's power, which is just essentially like punching things really hard. Like both characters punch things really, really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a relatively old theory because I mean, My Hero Academia went on to develop its own, you know, backstory and whatnot. And we actually know who the original wielder of the quirk was. But that got me thinking: what if people fucked it up? What if One Punch Man came after My Hero Academia? And because like the general premise of the quirk is that the more times it's passed down from like My Hero Academia, essentially it's like a precedence of people like passing on the quirk, and it gets stronger the more people you pass it on to. And then once it gets to One Punch Man, Saitama is wielding it to the point where it's so powerful that it can take out any opponent in a single punch.
Yo, that's
And it makes
actually
more
a
sense
fire
world
idea.
building wise. I've been really thinking about this.
Okay.
In My Hero Academia, quirks are kind of reasonable. Like there's nothing too outrageous, but it's starting to get there.
Yeah.
I've got like monster kaiju sized people who are made out of slime and whatnot, but it's not that bad. It's manageable. When you get to One Punch Man, the enemies are essentially a monster association. People whose powers have just disfigured them so morbidly.
Yeah.
People who are essentially automobiles and living insects and shit.
Yeah. Ooh.
So I'm thinking society from the time of My Hero Academia, quirks have developed at that point to where they've just become such an amalgamation of visually disgusting quirks that they become outcasted. People don't want to, you know, get to know anybody who has a quirk because they look fucking ugly.
Yeah. So
And
like,
then,
I mean,
yeah.
My
And
Hero
then
Academia
quirks
is the
which
beginning.
don't, you know, look visually unappealing. So like psychics or just people with enhanced power and whatnot. So we're talking people like a Saitama, you know, with the just outrageous power, or people like Tornado, who's just the world's strongest psychic. Those are powers which aren't visually unappealing, so they make their way into common society, which is why they end up being heroes. And the vast majority of people with their disassociated quirks, which just end up disfiguring them, end up being the monsters of the One Punch Man continuity.
Oh.
Mind blown.
Because like One Punch Man is practically post-apocalyptic. Like cities don't even have names. It's city A, B, C, D, because they get destroyed on a regular basis, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it's a constant fight for survival, but it's also, like, normalcy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've still got shopping centres and shit. People are just trying to live their normal lives. And heroes aren't quite what they used to be. Like, they're just people who are athletically fit at best, or they learn to martial art or something. And then there's a couple people with powers. So I'm just thinking, like, that makes more sense, and it doesn't fuck with either of their continuities yet.
Yeah.
One Punch Man hasn't really established, like, the origin of his powers beyond that he's overcome, like, his human limiter.
Yeah.
Like, that's essentially what they've established so far. It's not established where he got it from, because as far as he's concerned, he just woke up one day and he was bald and he was overpowered as fuck.
He just trained. He
Yeah.
did that work.
Like, what if-
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups,
And a
100k
10-kilometer
run.
run. Do not use the air conditioning, that's expensive. Eat a banana for breakfast, that'll do. You do this every day for a year, you will be able to destroy things in a single punch that would be visually and quantifiably similar to like punching out the sun. Yes. It makes sense to me.
I think
I
that's a
feel like-
great idea.
I
Actually.
feel like I
very
got
cool
away
theory.
with it. And it doesn't fuck with the My Hero Academia backstory where they actually show the original wielders of the quirk.
Yeah.
It makes
That's
sense to me.
actually so cool.
And if you think about it, Saitama's training was training his body to be able to wield the quirk in the first place.
Like what?
Come on, it makes
That's
so
exactly
much
what
sense.
Midoriya did. But like he's
To
trying
anyone
to
who
do.
doesn't
Yeah.
watch anime and it's
Me?
just, all of
Makes
this has
sense.
gone completely over your
Yeah.
head, this will mean nothing to you. But to me, this meant a lot.
This is for you, anime fans.
This is for all four of you.
Yeah.
3 of which are in this room. 4 maybe.
Maybe one person.
This was a
listening.
very self-pandering topic.
No,
I
that
just
was
had to
really.
bring it up.
Alright,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yes. I should put that on Reddit before someone else steals it.
You probably should.
Well, talking about anime,
Oh, as we do.
I had this favorite of mine, and it's called Noragami. It's a very underrated anime, but because not many people have heard of it, it's not a very popular anime. But I think it's like a really good like. I find it a masterpiece to me
Yeah.
because of how well it was made and the characterization of it was done really well. It's pretty much based around gods. So you have gods of war, maybe sometimes gods of romance. There's like different types of gods. Mostly the ones that are mostly seen are the gods of war. And it's based around like how these gods can also wield spirits. And these spirits are like actual people, but they died from different circumstances, like either suicide or like accidents. Like
so
they
the
die from
souls
that.
of deceased people being manipulated by the gods?
It's not all deceased. Like it's more like spirits that are unfulfilled. That are unfulfilled. So like those that die from like old age don't really count. It's more
So it's
just,
like the Western idea of ghosts. Why they
Kinda.
stay? It's because they're like
Yeah.
Like
something's
that traumatic
keeping them.
experience they
Unfinished
keep
business.
lingering
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. And like it there's this main character called Yato, and he's the god of calamity.
That's cool.
As
So-
you should.
Yeah. He's he's first seen as this kind of peasant god.
Okay, but real quick,
Yeah.
is he extraordinarily sexy?
I wouldn't say.
Not extraordinarily,
I
but
don't
he's
think
Okay.
Sorry,
Like,
Calan.
he's
Because
not- I
they
was-
tend to
he's
make
not-
the
he's not- he's
interesting
actually-
ones.
he's pretty like
he's kind of
scrawny.
normal.
Yeah.
I can-
Okay then, cool. So subversion.
I can
like
show
it.
you. Yeah. He's kind of just like a normal dude, but
Wow, representation, Brandon.
he's not. I think the one character that is like overly sexualized would be Bishamon. She's like she's a god of war, and she's kind of like she's a badass. It's kind of how would you say? She's kind of like
First era
Wonder
Aphrodite.
Woman. Like
That'll do.
like you could say Wonder
Yeah.
Woman,
Yeah,
but she's
but she doesn't have a dick like Wonder Woman.
no.
She's like evil Wonder Woman then.
She's not evil. She's
She's the god of war.
She's a
so-
god of war. Like she actually
Kratos.
like protects people, but she hates the main. Well, Yato. She hates Yato.
Yeah, it's like Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Yato has this teenage boy as a spirit. He's like a sword, and like it's just
Wield me.
that's like these spirits. They're human. They have human forms, but they turn into weapons, even clothes, or like accessories.
Wear me.
Like
Adorn me
Yeah.
of thine
Like
self,
Bishamon-
O gracious being.
Bishamon has this accessory. It's an earring, but he's actually like he's kind of like a manager. Like he manages how the
So it's
battle
like
is-
having the earpiece in
he's
and your
sort of
manager's talking
he's
to
kind
you.
of like the a captain kind of.
Oh.
Like he tells Bishamon what to do, like how to win, or tells the other spirits like what you should do.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, the
Creative.
teenage boy, he's a teenager. He died as a teenager.
Yeah.
So he's very unstable. So,
Yeah.
and it's funny because your emotion depends how, so he's a sword. Their emotion depends how sharp the sword is and how dull the sword is.
Oh.
So if he's depressed, it can't cut through.
Okay.
But if he's actually, determined to help, his
Imagine taking your sword to therapy.
Oh god. The first season is actually based on him, like how he kind of regains because he sins a lot, and
As a sword,
if
that would
spirits
happen.
sin, the gods actually they get injured by it. Well, injured they kind of get this disease that the more they sin, the more there is it grows, and eventually it will kill them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's that symbiotic relationship between God and soul.
Yeah. With Bishamon, because she adopts so many. Like, she has, a whole mansion
Wow.
full of spirits.
There's bound to
And
be a bit of
it's-
sin in there.
Yeah, dude, there's so many. There's so many that, it's just, daunting to her. Sorry. But, she wants to help them, but again, it just destroys her.
Yeah.
But it's the anime itself is really cool, and I love the concept of it. And
Honestly, I'm a fan of that concept.
yeah,
that is
it's a
pretty
cool
cool.
I remember
concept.
seeing a lot of stuff, images and screenshots of it when... Did it come out, 2014, 16?
I think it was around 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah, that was my prime anime phase.
Yeah.
No, it was more like year 7, but it's
Yeah.
pretty
Back
close.
in the day, binge watching
Yeah.
all of Naruto in 2 months.
I did forget to mention one other main character,
Okay.
where she's actually a human, she's a normal human, but she can see the gods and she can see the spirits.
Oh, she's one of those.
Medium.
Yeah, she's kind of it's because she saw Yato, but no one else can see him. So he was to get hit by a bus,
Oh.
and then she jumped in front of it.
Oh, lovely.
But
As you
no
do.
one else knows what the fuck just happened. She just
So
jumped in front of the
they're
bus.
just-
Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
That wasn't a spoiler. That was the first episode that happened.
I mean,
yeah,
It wasn't
that's
really a
fine.
spoiler.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I recommend if you're interested in that concept. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch it, go ahead watch it, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in general, pantheons of gods have always been super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Even just your Greek mythology and Norse mythology, it's just
Yeah.
so cool how...
I mean, that's a very human thing to do, especially back then, because, as society was growing, it didn't know a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it just made sense to give theological reasons to them. Think about it. I mean, as far as my experience would tell me, can you imagine what it would be like to be the first ape-like creature which could hear its own conscience?
Yeah.
Think about what the first thought was.
Yeah.
That monkey must have thought it was on drugs and the sky gods were talking to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it just sort of runs from there, I feel like society had to create gods and it had to create that sort of order. And then it just becomes a very significant and central to, what their culture is. I mean, it deviates from... Egyptians defining reality by their religion to more I don't know if we're going to show that on the post at some point, but that was a funny image.
That's the main character,
Yeah.
by the way. So
Oh god.
Derpy image.
Representation.
Exactly. If you guys
Exactly.
want to know what Calan and Brandon look like, just look at Noragami's main character.
Yato.
Instantly. Yato.
Yes.
You'll know.
yeah.
Just put an even derpier beard on it, and that's me. Get rid of it, and it's still Brandon.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Just add a beard to see the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. The anime definitely has like, a mix of like sadness but also like funny moments. So
Yeah.
like
As
it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Pester me and I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just before we end today, I want to introduce a little game to us. So if you've been watching the podcast, you know we always have a very legitimate sponsor episode
This
where
is
we
true.
where we pretty much just promote a business that definitely exists, and sometimes unfortunately there's two of them and we sponsor the wrong one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do we?
There was an actual business called Brandon's Bakery. Or was it
Yeah, Brandon's
Bakery?
Bakery.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it Brandon's Butchers?
No,
it was
Brandon's
Bakery.
Bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
To Brandon's Bakery in Adelaide or wherever the fuck. Ours
Sorry.
is better.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But our one is so much better. There
It
was
really
no
is.
confusion there. But,
Fuck off. Don't sue us, please.
spoiler alert, none of those sponsors actually exist.
If it wasn't
What do you
obvious.
mean?
What do you mean? They exist.
Who's been giving me free shit for the past 6 weeks?
Well, I don't think we want to know that answer.
Oh god.
There's too many. Yeah, but what we're going to do is we're going to turn that into a little game. So if you guys have watched Jackbox, a lot of streamers have been playing it recently. You might also not have seen it, but pretty much what people do is they have to pitch like an invention or an idea to their fellow cast members, and then they have to try and get funding from from the rest of the crew. So instead of doing inventions, we're going to be doing businesses. And to kick off the first time we do it, Budgie is going to be presenting her business to us, and she's going to try and vie us over to see if we'll give her any funding to actually make it a thing.
This is fucking insane.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, so my business is called Budgie's Budget Bank.
Okay.
You know, you go to banks like Commonwealth or Anzac.
Ooh.
This is a budget bank.
Anzac?
A budget bank.
ANZ.
ANZ.
Maybe there's an
You don't know
Anzac,
what
you don't know.
Anzac
There
is?
probably is somewhere.
ANZ. I thought you said
ANZ is
Anzac.
Anzac.
I thought you said Anzac.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Close enough.
Close enough.
yeah, sure.
But do go on.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just a budget pretty much. Like, you tell us our budget, and then, you know, we do the banking for you, but on a budget.
Okay, so if I came to you and I said, "Hi, I have $400," what would you do with that?
You'd probably only
Do I
bank
get- do I
half
get-
of that.
So what happens to the other half?
We don't talk about that.
So I pretty much give you my money to
Pyramid
invest.
pretty much-
scheme.
it's pretty much the
Pyramid
opposite.
scheme. Pyramid scheme.
It's pretty much the opposite of gaining interest.
Oh, I get to lose money.
Whoa.
No longer do I have to go out and buy things to get rid of my money
Yeah.
or drop it somewhere.
Oh, this
I
is
get to give it
extraordinary.
to Budgie's
Yeah.
so she can take my
If
money.
you think about it, that's an amazing business model. Like, you'd make so much money as long as you had clients. Oh no! Actually,
And-
no. If you think about it, that's a shit business model. Because if you think,
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
no,
really? I
hear
didn't
me
know
out.
that.
Okay,
How
well, listen.
actual banks work is they take all of your money and that's their profit. But then when you want your money back, they take someone else's money and give that to you.
Yeah.
They're not giving you your money; they're giving you someone else's money.
They don't. Do you give me money? So if I give you $400, you take 200, and the other 200 goes somewhere else.
Yes.
Do I get anything back?
You get someone else's money.
How much though? Do I get like?
You get half of what they pay.
So so how much would that be? Like,
Well,
does it depend? Like, if someone had $1,000 in the bank, you took 500. So then, how much is 500 leaves? So then there's 250 left. Do I get the 250? Like, is there a system for scaling? Is there a scale? Or does it just like, we'll get half of anyone's money? Doesn't matter how much they get. You could be getting a loss, or you could be getting a gain. It's like gambling.
Can I start an account with like
No.
$5 real quick?
For example, say you bank 200 and
Right.
oh no, say someone banks like 1,000
Mm-hmm.
and then you bank like 200 and so we half that.
Yeah. Half of it just disappears somewhere.
It doesn't disappear. We hold on to it.
Oh, okay.
And then what happens is that if someone, you get anyone's half. So if someone pays 1,000,
You might get.
500.
So this is like gambling.
Holy gambling!
Gambling.
Gambling with large sums of money. Okay, well, I think. Do you have a tagline that you can give to us? Just one last thing to sell it, even though I think you've already got us. What is your tagline?
We steal your money.
We steal your money. Alright,
At least
okay.
you're direct.
Okay, the rest of us hosts and Reggie the manager, we're going to discuss it. So just turn away. Yes?
Okay, so I have a feeling that I would not make profit out of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are
and
we funding
our
it?
manager's giving us a whole lot of hell no's.
Yeah.
Just some,
What about you,
Yeah.
Brandon?
I mean, it could be good.
it would
Okay.
fuel my
Good.
gambling
If you-
addiction.
If it worked out, it would be, a
It'd
hell of a lot
work
of
out
money.
for Budgie's budget bank, but it wouldn't work. Even
You know-
then, would it actually? It
What if
wouldn't- it
someone
would,
invested $1 million? You could end up with 500,000.
Yeah.
Well,
Or you
yeah.
could get someone's $2.
Or you could, okay, but that's the risk.
Yeah, but everyone's going to
I
be
think
putting in $2.
people who do gamble, they might love it. They might hate
yeah,
themselves
no shit,
enough.
because it's gambling.
They might hate themselves enough to be like, I'm gonna put my entire life savings into this, which is like $50, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll get $60.
But that'd be an economically stupid decision to make because
Well, there are
irregardless-
economically stupid people in the
Yeah,
world,
I
are
know,
they
but
not?
they're not that stupid, surely. Because, like, no matter how much money you put in, you could put in, like, 10 cents, Budgie would keep 5 cents, and then your 5 cents would go fuck off. And then you could get any amount of money regardless.
Exactly.
You don't need to put in more money unless that gives you a better chance. In
True.
fact, would that give you a better chance, Budgie? Would putting in more money give you a higher chance of getting a higher return?
Is it completely random, or is there like an algorithm or something?
There's an algorithm.
So what
the
is?
poorer you are, the more richer you get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I really like this business.
Okay, so are we funding it or are we kicking
My
it?
$0 taxable income really feels quite spicy with this bank. I'm just going to say this now.
Yeah,
We help
I'm
the
on
poor.
the same page, yeah.
They help the poor. They're like Robin Hood.
But that implies that the rich would even come in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to know about it.
Are you bribing
You just
the
own-
accountants?
you
You're like,
just own,
hey, hey,
multiple banks, like the rich person's bank, where you just sift in all their money and don't tell them.
Ooh. So are we funding it?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
You can have my $2.50.
Alright, that's 3 votes. And you've been funded with no money, but yay!
Yeah.
Thank
Oh
you,
my
thank you.
God.
I'd like to make my
We give you a
first
check of
donation.
$3.50.
How much?
Yes.
I would donate whatever's in my wallet.
Okay.
That's
Could
not
be
a
a
lot.
receipt. It could just be.
Just a receipt.
Sorry,
Irregardless,
we don't accept
everyone.
receipts. I apologize.
Irregardless, there we have it, everyone.
We have one last question to ask ourselves and to you, dear listener.
Any last word?
Any last words?
Any last words?
Any last words? Alright, if you guys want to check us out on social media, you can find us on ALW Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud as well, Tumblr, if you really want to go there. If you want to consider helping us out, if you enjoyed anything, just hit that subscribe button. Thank you.